Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. Why I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. More talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs. You know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark. No LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers. Go.
And welcome to the best damn sports radio show on the planet. This is Man Hour. I'm your host, BC Beastie Brandon Combs. If you have not yet done so, and you are watching us on any platform, I don't care what that platform is, YouTube, Facebook, Roku TV, Tiki TV, Belly Up Sports TV, make sure you click like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe on whichever platform that might be. If you're watching us on Belly Up Sports and Tiki Live or Roku TV and like what you see, head on over to youtube.com/Man Hour. You can subscribe for as little as $2.99 a month. Become a member of Man Hour Nation. Once you're a member, head on over to manhourradio.com. Click on the merchandise tab and get yourself some hot Man Hour gear. We have hats, shirts, hoodies, joggers, phone cases, much, much more. And now that I've tried to pay the bills, we've got a great show lined up. I did have a couple of guests lined up. However, one is forgot that he was going to be on his way to Myrtle Beach at this point to go play some golf. Must be nice. But that's all right. We'll have RC back on the show next week. He has promised to be on next week. And I sent Lucci the link, so hopefully he shows up here anytime soon. And we can talk some football here, which is what basically the gist of the show is going to be. Looks like it's going to be about an hour long. We're going to talk some Aaron Rodgers contract. We're definitely going to be talking some Aaron Rodgers contract. We're going to talk about the Russell Wilson trade. But first, some breaking news tonight. Well, today, actually, this afternoon, as Carson Wentz goes to the Washington, they're not the football team anymore, right? The Washington Commanders. And the Colts don't get a quarterback in return, which is very interesting to me, right? So the Colts sent Carson Wentz to Washington. They got 2 third-round picks and this year's second. They exchanged second-round picks for this year. But that leaves it interesting for me, right? Because there are 2 quarterbacks left that are yet to be traded, right? That we can think of that are the most likely to be traded. One of them being Jimmy G. The other one is Deshaun Watson. Now, I said last year, before they signed Carson Wentz, that Deshaun Watson to Indianapolis was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. It made the most sense. If Deshaun Watson goes to the Indianapolis Colts, they are my favorite in the AFC in the AFC South. They would be my favorite in the AFC South. They might be my favorite in the entire AFC if Deshaun Watson goes there. So I was talking with my boy Buck this morning. He's doing the morning show. Called me on my way to work, and we were talking about Deshaun Watson and potential landing spots. And I said, well, you could pretty much write it in that he's going to land in Pittsburgh. It makes the most sense. It's the most plausible idea. And then this trade happened. And I said, I said to myself, I said self. Maybe Deshaun Watson goes to Indianapolis. And as Mike Buck, who's in the chat, what's going on, Buck? In the chat says, interdivision trade. Nah. Look, if there is any team in the NFL that is going to do something stupid, like trade a top 5 quarterback in the league right now to a team in the same division, it's the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are just dumb enough to pull off a trade like this. And for the Colts, it makes a ton of sense. For the Colts, I mean, you're not going to find Carson Wentz replacement in the draft. And unless you are putting all your stock into Sam Ehlinger, which I don't see happening. So now your 2 quarterbacks for the Indianapolis Colts are Sam Ehlinger, and I believe their third stringer was like a guy named James Morgan. I don't even know who the hell that is. Sounds like a guy who they picked up like Kurt Warner bagging groceries. Like, I don't know that you can say that Houston won't trade Deshaun Watson inside of the division. Now, they've got some extra picks to work with. However, I think if you're going to get Deshaun Watson, it's going to be all first-round picks, so you might have to package, a bunch of your first-round picks. You kind of mortgage your future a little bit to get Deshaun Watson, but I'm okay with that if I'm Indianapolis, right? Because Indianapolis doesn't need a whole bunch. Indianapolis doesn't need a ton of stock. So if you're trading this year's first round, next year's first round, and the next 2 years first rounds after that to get Deshaun Watson, you can find him some more wide receiver help in the second and third round. That's been proven. You can find him offensive line help in the second and third round, but their offensive line is already really good in Indianapolis. They've got a really solid defense in Indianapolis. A lot of people forget this Indy team probably should have been in the playoffs if it wasn't for a freaking gaffe in Week 18 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This team that started out, I believe it was 0-5 because they were so decimated with injuries, damn near ran into the playoffs. And they would have been a dangerous out. I think there's a lot of teams that are happy that they didn't make the playoffs. So if you get Deshaun Watson, you can mortgage your future right now. If you're the Indianapolis Colts more than any other team, you can mortgage your future for Deshaun Watson. You can give up all of those picks for Deshaun Watson because you don't need very much to be a Super Bowl contending team. You are literally a quarterback away, and you get that quarterback if you get Deshaun Watson. And I get all people. I get what you're saying, Buck. Interdivision trade. It might be an interdivision trade, but there's one team that's stupid enough to do this, and that's the Houston Texans. So I don't think it's that far-fetched. I still think Pittsburgh is the landing spot, but at the same time, as Buck hops in here, what's going on, Buck?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me all right? I'm driving to work.
Yeah, I got you.
Sweet.
So I'm talking about Houston trading Indy, or Houston trading Deshaun Watson over to Indy. And I know you said that it's a division trade. Now, I still think Houston might be the only team dumb enough to pull off a trade like that.
Yeah, see, the problem with that is Houston now has a new general manager. They have a new head coach in Lovie Smith, right? So
yep.
The more I sit back and think about it, I think they hired a black coach. They hired a players coach to simply keep Deshaun Watson there. Somehow, some way, they're going to finagle their way of keeping Deshaun Watson there. So all
There's
those
no
22, so all those 22 sex allegations that we just had, just prolonged it to, hey, we can now finally finagle him to come here.
Yeah, but look, there's no way Deshaun Watson will never play another game in Houston. He's even said that he'll never play for Houston ever again. So if
that
Houston,
was with Bill O'Brien though too.
No, but that's been since Bill O'Brien has left too. And then all the stuff that he's gone through, which a lot of people believe, including myself, and I believe you believe it too, is that the owner of the Houston Texans kind of orchestrated this whole sex scandal. And
Definitely did it. He definitely helped it.
yeah, so I don't see a point where Deshaun Watson's like, all right, yeah, I'll play here. And I think that the Houston Texans' hand is kind of forced. Now, with that being said, if you were to trade him to Indy, you're not. I mean, what are you getting in a quarterback back? What are you getting, Sam Ellinger? Like, you're not getting a quarterback back. So that would be the thing.
They don't need a quarterback. They have Davis Mills, and I think he is going to be a solid quarterback for them for the next 5 to 7 years. What they need is some wide receiver help, is some offensive line help, and what does the Indianapolis Colts have a plethora of? Offensive linemen.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Look, I think that this is a possibility. I still think, as I was going to say right before you hopped on, I still think that Pittsburgh is a landing spot for Deshaun Watson. I still think it makes the most sense. He goes and he plays with Brian Flores, who's really high on, and not that Brian Flores has anything to do with the offense, but he's there. Then you also get Mike Tomlin, and that landing spot there for him with the weapons that they already have in place would be a good spot. I think Indy would be a great spot for him too. I said that last year before they went out and got Carson Wentz. So man, this trade right here today stopped me and gave me pause for where the next Deshaun Watson landing spot is going to be.
Yeah, so speaking of that trade, Carson Wentz, why isn't he getting a fair shake anymore? Because he was a MVP quarterback until he tore his ACL. 3 weeks left in the season, and the Eagles ultimately won the Super Bowl particular year, and they would have won it with Wentz or without Wentz. They were that good. They were that poised to win a lot of games. Why isn't he getting a fair shake anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. And then when you look at his numbers this year, I mean, his touchdown interceptions was 27-7, completed 63% of his passes, had almost 4,000 yards passing, and that's after missing the first 5 weeks of the season with an injury.
Yeah, well, and then he played 3 or 4 weeks with 2 sprained ankles.
Yeah. So I don't know why he's not getting a fair shake. I think that he makes Washington pretty damn dangerous, actually. I thought this was a great trade for Washington. I like Carson Wentz in Washington. I think this was a really good trade for Washington. I'm not so sure that this was here's what I think happened. I think that the Colts would have never made this move if they didn't think they had a chance at either A, Deshaun Watson, or B, a guy we haven't talked about yet with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I just think it's better to come on now with whoever you've got. You know, for Jimmy G or Deshaun Watson, you better do this quick before other teams hop in.
Right. So 2 things there. I don't think the 49ers are going to move on from Jimmy G quite yet. Jimmy G does have a no-trade clause built into his contract. So basically he has to agree where he is going to go. So therefore he is not going to go to a team like, let's say, the New York Giants that are going to give the 49ers a first-round pick and a second-round pick for this particular guy. Jimmy G wants to go to a team like the Colts, like, maybe the Seahawks, right? There are teams out there that he wants to go to where he has a chance of winning right now. Not the Jets, not the Giants, not the Panthers. So I don't think Jimmy G will be in a San Francisco 49ers uniform to start the season unless he is cut. But with that being said, the Indianapolis Colts might have a diamond in the rough in Sam Ellinger, yes, but there is a free agent out there by the name of Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett was thrown in the fire when Andrew Luck he retired 2 weeks before the season started, right? He had a pretty good few games in Miami when Tua was hurt Oh, and he was a backup to Tom Brady. I think Jacoby Brissett is a X factor in this year's free agency, and he is going to start in the NFL this year. And it would not surprise me one bit if he went back to the Indianapolis Colts for a $3 to $4 million deal, and the Indianapolis Colts sign a big name receiver. Juju Smith-Schuster comes to mind.
Yeah, there are a lot of options out there for the Indianapolis Colts. There's a lot of options that, like, they've got some pieces they can part with too. So it's going to be interesting. This next, we got a month before the NFL draft. This next month in the NFL, since we ain't got no freaking baseball to talk about, is actually going to be fun to watch because we're going to be watching what the hell happens with free agency. And there's a quarterback carousel again that we didn't see coming, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough saying because we did kind of foresee. I mean, we thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to ultimately leave Green Bay. I mean, obviously, a big contract allegedly kept him in town there, but a trade that we definitely did not see was Russell Wilson going to the Denver Broncos. I think that definitely shook everything up 100%, and we are definitely in for a wild ride for the next week or so.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be interesting. I think we still, like I said, I still think we have two quarterbacks. We might have more quarterbacks on the move because I didn't see Carson Wentz moving. I didn't see that happening. Yeah. And that's why it leads me to believe that the Colts already have something in the works to get one of those other two quarterbacks that we just talked about. I think it's already there.
So I see my man Alpha Rob and Luke G in the chat. What's up, guys? So let me ask you this question, because the Washington Commanders, they gave Heineke a pretty good deal. I think it was like a 3-year, $10 or $12 million deal. I mean, granted, that's not starter money by any means, but they thought they had a guy in Heineke. But obviously they brought Carson Wentz in there. Do they move Heineke? Does Heineke end up somewhere now? I mean, there are a lot of things that could definitely fall into place. Or fall out of place.
Yeah, I think Heineke will move. I think Heineke will get a shot somewhere else. But Alpha Rob brings up a good point, too. Mitch Trubisky is also out there.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky hasn't found a landing spot, and I think he's going to find a landing spot. I think he's going to find somewhere where he can compete for a starting gig, too.
I saw a rumor on the rumor mill on the on a Discord that I'm on. People were saying Mr. Trubisky to Indy makes sense.
Ooh, I mean, he runs the same style that a Carson Wentz does. I don't know if I take that chance if I'm Indy though, but a lot of people look. Right? I'm one of those Bears fans, and I hear it a lot around Chicago. But I'm also one of them that thinks that I would love to see Mitch Trubisky go somewhere and succeed, just to make Matt Nagy look that much worse of a head coach than he already does. And because of the way he treated Trubisky.
Wouldn't he be pretty successful in Indy, though? I mean, Carson Wentz and Mitchell Trubisky kind of seem like the same quarterback on the surface, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I just said. They're the same quarterback. They run the same style. It would make some sense. I would just, you just got to hope that Trubisky learned something while he was in Buffalo, because he didn't learn anything in his 4 years in Chicago. And he tried. That wasn't Trubisky's fault. I mean, a lot of stuff came out about how Trubisky tried. Trubisky, set up a meeting with Matt Nagy to come to a meeting and say, hey, how do we fix what's going on? He had notes and everything, and Matt Nagy never showed up for that meeting. And that was kind of the end of Trubisky and trying to grow in Chicago. And I believe that happened in his third season. So, he played a whole nother year and a half where he knew him and his coach weren't getting along, and he knew he wasn't there for the long haul. That's a tough spot to be in as a young quarterback.
That is stupid in Matt Nagy's eyes. Because he drafted Mitchell, right?
No, he did not. Mitchell Trubisky was drafted by It was the John Fox era that drafted Mitchell Trubisky. It wasn't John Fox. It was Ryan Pace who drafted him, and they didn't tell John Fox about it. John Fox found out about it through an ESPN update on his phone, actually.
Okay. Well,
so
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't that typical Chicago Bears fashion, though, right?
It is. But I see Luke G's backstage now, so we're going to get to a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to have Luke G talking about Aaron Rodgers. Buck, thanks for showing up. Thanks for talking to us on your way to work. And, hey, give me a buzz in the morning. We'll do this morning thing again.
Hey, before you go to break, one question.
Yeah.
Why is there a pee trap in my sink? I don't want to trap the pee. I would like it to go all the way down the drain straight to the sewage tank.
Why are you peeing in your sink?
Why is there a pee trap in there? Like, isn't that what it's for?
Oh, God. You're an idiot. All right.
Later,
all right, Buck. We'll see you later. Guys, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, I will... All right, so we are back. Buck pushed the wrong button when he hung up. I don't know what he was thinking, what he was doing, but he ended the show, and so I had to create a new one, and that's where we're at now. So I'm looking for the link actually right now on YouTube, and I actually don't see it on YouTube either.
Well, it'll pop up. Give it a little bit of time. Give it a little bit of time.
But all right, so let's talk about this. So we've got a bunch of stuff happening in the NFL. Now we just covered the Carson Wentz stuff, and the Carson Wentz, to Washington was just a surprise for me. But like I was telling Buck, it leads me to believe that they already know that something else is coming. And it either Jimmy G or Deshaun Watson. Now, I know it's an intra-division trade if they get Deshaun Watson, but I mean, if there's one organization that's dumb enough to do it, it's Houston. And Jimmy G would make a lot of sense there too. And Buck threw out that he thinks that Mitchell Trubisky would make a lot of sense in Indianapolis.
Okay. I don't think Deshaun Watson is in the mix because you don't really see those kind of trades unless you Andy Reid and you're sick of Donovan McNabb and you send him to the Washington football team. I'm just not going to call them the Commanders. It's not happening. I find that name offensive. It's dumb.
The football team is offensive too. They're the damn Redskins.
Yeah, but you know what? we gonna try to be politically correct on it. I just don't like. I'd rather have.
We ain't politically correct about nothing.
This is true, but I'm saying though, like I put it like this. To me, the trade for the coach was smart. You wasn't getting anything out of him. You got something for him, and at the end of the day, the only thing that's coming down the pipeline is they're taking their quarterback of the future in the draft.
Luke G, what do you mean they weren't getting nothing out of him? The man missed pretty much the first 5 weweeks of the season with an injury.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He still threw for 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. 63% of his passes were completed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I what do you mean you're not getting nothing out of him? He was good in Indy.
Yeah, he was about as mad as you can get in Indy. And the reality is this: when you look at Carson Wentz, what they needed was somebody who can be a force multiplier, somebody who can change the trajectory of that team in that position. They had the run game, and most of the time that he had success is because those other two guys was running. And when they shut down Nyheim Hines and they shut down Jonathan Taylor, all of a sudden we needed the quarterback to play quarterback. Where was he? He was nowhere to be found. He had games where you would ask yourself, like, can you give us a little bit more? It's a good trade, in my opinion, for both teams, because if Washington feels that they got a guy that can help them, good. But for me, I just ask myself the question, is he better than what Washington had last year at quarterback? And the answer is yes. Wentz is better than what they had at quarterback. And I like Fitzpatrick, don't get me wrong, but I would take Wentz over Fitzpatrick. That's just the reality of it. And they gave up like a second or a third round pick and a conditional second or third round pick. It was nothing drastic. But now they have options. If they want to move, if they want to stay fast and take the quarterback, they'll do it. If they want to move up, they can do that too. But Jimmy G, if they take Jimmy G, they're stupid. Because you're not getting anything extra from him on that neither.
So the Deshaun Watson makes a ton of sense. I think Deshaun Watson makes them a Super Bowl team right away. Jimmy G.
Hold on, pardon me. I realized something. Did you make this private or public? And are you sure you're not back in the old link? Because it should have popped up by now, and it's not popping up on my screen.
I'm on the new league. I made it public.
I don't.
Let me just double check.
Yeah, because YouTube is acting as if though they don't like us, and we're awesome. And I believe that we should be seen as awesome as we are.
It's got the green check mark that is live right now, and I can't find it either. I was looking for it too.
Well, if you look at the 3 dots on your, I want to say your right corner where it says edit, you can see what your settings were. But,
all right.
But at this point, we should have been, because I don't even see nobody in the comment section.
Oh, you know what I did? I put the wrong. You know what? It should come up here in a minute. I had the wrong man hour. We had a different man hour YouTube, which is for the clips, and I had that one in there. So I just added the new man hour one to it. So that should come up now here. If you refresh,
and you can always edit this and go back or whatever. We good. We good.
Yeah, here we are. We're in there now. I just looked. All right, so I think Deshaun Watson to them makes them a Super Bowl contender. I think that right away, Indianapolis to me is the favorite in the AFC South, and I think that they are the favorite to, maybe in the entire AFC. That's how high I am on Deshaun Watson. I really like Deshaun Watson. I think he's the top 5 quarterback in the league. If Jimmy G goes there, I think that there's still a playoff team because Jimmy G has shown that he can take a team to the playoffs. But if Mitch Trubisky goes there, that's a wild card, right? Because is Mitch Trubisky just a product of being stuck under Matt Nagy? Which, I mean, the way Matt Nagy was running things, I don't know if you heard the story that I told Buck about Matt Nagy and what Matt Nagy did to Mitchell Trubisky at the towards the end of his stay in Chicago. But that, to me, is a wild card. Like, what did he learn in Buffalo? How good can he actually be? If he goes into Indianapolis and all of a sudden he's a stud, not only are Bears fans going to puke all over themselves, but Matt Nagy should never, ever be allowed on a football field ever again.
Well, I put it this way. Again, I don't see an in-division trade. I don't see it happening. That's one. 2, I don't think the Colts have the arsenal to even entice them. Because just look at what just happened with Russell Wilson. And if you're talking about a team that had to give up essentially 8 freaking players, what do you give up for an in-division trade?
Yeah.
So I don't see that happening.
But now, it's Houston, though. I mean, come on now. It's
Houston.
But
it's Houston with some new
stuff.
It's Houston with Lovie Smith. It's Houston with some new brains in the building. And I don't see a situation where that now turns into let's just keep continuing our same old ways. I think that there's a new era with new ideas and new approaches. According to Lovie Smith, he wants Deshaun Watson back. And that's what his plan is to figure out how to get him back in the fold. Now, here's what I can tell you, okay? I can tell you this. I can tell you that even if Mitchell Trubisky went to the Colts, I don't know if that just makes them any less. The reality is they need to stay with the run, but you need a quarterback who can do just enough when you need it. And for me, I believe you can get that type of play out of a Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
And I'm a Lions, Seahawks, Bucks fan. I know, sounds strange saying it out loud, but it is the truth. So to me, I think the Colts, if you look at the Colts, in all honesty, they basically just sat there and said, like, how much more are we going to kick the tire on Carson Wentz? And they just basically was like, it's kind of bone.
You said Lions, Seahawks, and Bucks?
Yeah. So
well, you've had a miserable last 3 months in the NFL.
You know what? You know what's funny though? Surprisingly, I didn't. In fact, I was excited. I was excited.
The Lions were terrible. Tom Brady retired and left the Bucks.
I was happy about that.
And Russell Wilson got traded. I mean, They fleeced Denver on that deal, man.
I
Seattle completely won that trade.
I don't know if I can say who won the trade just yet, but I can tell you this much: the Seattle Seahawks needed to trade Russell Wilson, and it's in fact one of the things I was going to talk about last week when I was going to come on was that it's time for the NFL owners to take a stance against these damn quarterbacks because the diva level is too damn high. I've had it up to here. They paid Russell Wilson. They gave him the contract. They gave him the money. He's done nothing, absolutely diddly squat since Marshawn Lynch left. He's had running backs. He's had run games. Defense, questionable, but it's been there enough for you to win games. And at the end of the day, he hasn't produced anything since Marshawn Lynch left. And when Marshawn Lynch left, I said, pay Marshawn Lynch, because with that run game, you can put anybody at quarterback. Everybody thought I was crazy. But here's a guy who's been hurt a few times, who hasn't done nothing since he hasn't had a run game. He won his first Super Bowl with a defense that was amazing, a run game that was amazing. They didn't even really need to have a legitimate receiver, but he did, and everybody went nuts. No, I was happy when they traded him because now they are in position to take another quarterback. Now, if that's Malik Willis, I ain't gonna be too happy about that.
Look, I looked at this trade, and I've got people that I've been arguing with on Facebook about that are Denver fans and the AFC West thing that we have for Man Hour out there, and they're just like, oh, beside them, oh, we got Russ, we're back in the West, really? Because this man had Lockett and DK and didn't even sniff the playoffs, and now he's going to who? To Judy and Sutton? And you think all of a sudden he's going to be a world beater? Like that's Russell Wilson has been for the last 3 seasons. He's been a 7-game quarterback. He's an MVP for the first 7 weeks of the season, and then you don't hear his name again the rest of the season.
I mean, he's not alone. Put Aaron Rodgers in that same boat. 18 years, you sniffed the Super Bowl one time. Why are we gonna stop with just Russell Wilson? Put Aaron Rodgers in that boat, and then we talk about how selfish they both been. Asked for all the money in the world and still couldn't carry the team. All I kept hearing about these quarterbacks is they make people better. Well, when was it going to happen? Because all I've been hearing is a lot of tears and fears. I want this person. I want that person. They did it. And half the time that you were in these games, it was your inability, because it was time for Russell Wilson. Should have took off and ran. But his inability to recognize that is went out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you give up 2 first-round draft picks, 2 second-round draft picks, a guy who has the ability to be a top 10 tight end in the league. I think he's already a top 10 tight end in the league. And you give up a guy like Drew. Look, Drew Lock, he may not be a world beater, but he's a viable quarterback, a stopgap quarterback until you find somebody that can be your franchise quarterback. And you give up all of that draft capital, and you can't build around the guy that you just brought in, and you still need some pieces in Denver. It's a bad trade. It's a bad trade.
I thought it was a bad trade if Denver don't win a Super Bowl. You see, once the Matthew Stafford effect happened, everybody gets that same treatment. When they gave up 2 firsts and a third and Jared Goff, everybody said that Matthew Stafford had to win a Super Bowl for it to be legit. Now we do a trade bigger than Stafford. I don't hear a single person saying that they have to win a Super Bowl. Then when you talk about the contract of Aaron Rodgers, I don't hear a single person saying the same thing about him having to win a Super Bowl. So in my opinion, the trade will only be bad. The trade will only be bad if they don't repeat the formula that made him successful. I have been a big component of quarterbacks having a run game, and this is why I would not pay these quarterbacks. This is why I wouldn't give them the big bucks. I would say, you know what, you're too dependent upon other people, and I know that this has been the norm, but I can find another person to come in and do what you're doing if I got the other pieces right.
Well, we're going to get to quarterbacks and their contracts here in just a few minutes. I got some stuff to say about that guy, Aaron Rodgers, that bad man, as Stephen A. likes to call him. So, Rule the Jungle says Buck said that Russell Wilson wasn't even a top 10 quarterback this morning. Well, Rule the Jungle, I don't know if you disagree with Buck, but I agree with Buck. He might be top 15 now, Russell Wilson. Might be.
Who is top 10? I'm trying to think. I still think he's a top 10 quarterback. I could.
You think
quarterback.
Wilson's a top 10 quarterback right now in the league?
Yeah, I still think he's a top 10
All
quarterback.
right. We're gonna do this right now because I think you're gonna prove yourself wrong when we go through it because I don't think you're thinking about. Would you take him over Josh Allen right now?
Yes.
What?
Yes. See, you gotta understand. You gotta understand something. When I like Josh Allen, listen. I like Josh Allen, right? But Josh Allen has the same problem he have, right? No run game, and Josh Allen is in the same boat as the rest of them. And Josh Allen
is the run game,
and that's the problem. That's the problem. I've seen those quarterbacks do it. They don't last long. I need you to be able to sit in the pocket and dissect the play and make smart decisions. I've seen him run when he shouldn't have. I've seen him do some things a little bit different. And I know people are in love with the mobile quarterback, but let's be honest.
Russell Wilson's a mobile quarterback.
They don't use him like that. They use Josh Allen in the run game. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think Josh Allen is a dog. Don't get me wrong.
Wow. Well, that surprises me that you would take him over Josh Allen. All right,
I would.
Let's go with this then. Would you take him over Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Okay. Would you take him over? Let's go with. I'm trying to think of all the top quarterbacks right now that we have in the league. I know a bunch of them just retired. Would you take him over Lamar Jackson?
Yes.
Wow.
Lamar Jackson is another one. Go back and look at that really great year that they had with Lamar Jackson. It was hinged upon the running game of Mark Ingram and the running back Edward. And the minute they shut that down, all of a sudden, you know, he was real human. And then the next year they moved on from Mark Ingram, which we talking about this previous season, and Lamar Jackson looked like, man, they almost lost to the Lions. Literally. Almost lost to the Lions. So I'm just saying, you know, if it's me, yeah, I'm taking Russell Wilson over Lamar Jackson.
All right. So I'm just beside myself. All right. So you're not taking him over Aaron Rodgers, obviously.
No.
You're not taking him over Matthew Stafford, obviously.
No, because I think with Stafford I get more.
Right. Joe Burrow? Come on.
Listen. Hold on, wait. Listen, you got to understand. Joe Burrow, for me, it's hard for me to gauge him at this point. I think he's a dog. I think he's really good. But I'm also saying that it's only been 2 years, and the first year was an incomplete because he got hurt. And then this year he got his ass whooped. So let him do it a few more times consistently, then we can talk about it.
God. You're killing me here. Are you taking him over Deshaun Watson?
No.
You're taking him over Dak?
Yes. Dak is 100% dependent upon everything else. That man has it all. He got CeeDee Lamb.
Russell Wilson. Look at all the weapons Russell Wilson had, and he was 6-11.
Russell Wilson weapons compared to Dak Prescott is laughable. Are you serious?
What are you talking about?
What did Russell Wilson have that Dak didn't?
What did Russell? How about DK Metcalf and Tyler
Amari
Lockett?
Cooper?
Amari Cooper hasn't been good in like
Amari Cooper,
6 years. CeeDee Lamb.
Yep,
Amari Cooper's not a good wide receiver in this league anymore.
Why not?
He hasn't been a good wide receiver in this league he hasn't been a relevant wide receiver in this league in at least 3 seasons.
Now, Rule the Jungle make a good point that he doesn't have a good coach. The coaching part is right, but who has a better offensive line? Dallas. Who had the better running backs? Dallas. Who had the better overall receiving core? Dallas. All
right. So you're gonna put Russell basically right now. From what I'm hearing from you, is you've basically got Russell Wilson in the top 5.
If I did my top 10 right now, it would go Aaron Rodgers. I would go. I'm trying to guys. See, this is where I would go. Aaron Rodgers,
Patrick Mahomes, right?
Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be number 2 for me.
Ooh.
No,
Matthew Stafford.
Stafford not top 10. He's not a top 10 player for me. But it would go.
Well,
Well, if I'm saying, I would go again. Keep in mind, I'm trying to go through all the quarterbacks in my head. So, but I would go Aaron Rodgers. I would put, and this make no mistake, it's not in no order. I'm just giving you the 10. I would go Aaron Rodgers. I would put Patrick Mahomes in my top 10. I would put Deshaun Watson in my top 10. I would put Russell Wilson in my top 10. I would put what the hell? I would put. Well, obviously we had a few people leave right now. I'm trying to go through all the teams in my head. There's a lot of new quarterbacks now that I think about
what
it.
I'm saying is that when I put that in there, like I gave you all the quarterbacks that were in the top 10, and you picked Russell Wilson over all of them.
No,
except for Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford.
I picked Russell Wilson over Lamar Jackson. I picked Russell Wilson over Josh Allen and Dak Prescott. Them the three.
And you picked him over Joe Burrow.
No, I didn't. I said Joe Burrow's incomplete. I can't gauge Joe Burrow right now. He got to do it again.
Okay, so here's where the top 10 ranked, by NFL
look
rankings.
At the starting quarterbacks.
So you have Rodgers, Mahomes, Stafford are the top 3. Then they ranked Russell Wilson 4. Then they've got Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, and Justin Herbert as the top 10. The next 5 are Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trevor Lawrence, and Ryan Tannehill. Kirk Cousins being 16 on that list to me is a joke. But I don't think people are giving Kirk Cousins enough credit.
No, I think Kirk had a quietly good year, but nobody's going to talk about it.
And he's had a quietly great career.
Yeah, I think people don't want to talk about it. I just realized there's more younger quarterbacks in here than not.
There are, yeah. A lot of them are gone now. You know what I mean? Like
I didn't even realize
Brady
that.
Retiring.
Yeah, Brady's gone.
Big Ben's retired.
Yeah.
All
right. So here's how I would do it. I would have Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes in there. Derek Carr would make my top 10 list. I do like a lot of Derek Carr. I like Josh Allen. He would be in the top 10. Russell Wilson would be in my top 10. Ironically, and I know people ain't gonna like this person to be added in there, but I'm going by play and tape. I would put Kirk Cousins at 10. He would be at the last 10 spot, given the fact that a lot of people left out. Joe Burrow to me is incomplete right now. He got to do it a little bit more. Stafford, I can't put Stafford in my top 10. Although I think Stafford is better than Kirk Cousins. I don't want to seem like a homer on this because I can give you all the greatness about Stafford, but I'm going to leave that alone. Yeah. Lamar would be outside of my top 10. I just feel like
I had Lamar. So we did our top 10 last week, and I had Rodgers at 1, Stafford at 2, Mahomes at 3, Burrow at 4, Deshaun Watson at 5, Lamar at 6, Dak at 7, Kirk at 8, Kyler at 9, and Herbert at 10.
Kyler can't be in the top 10 at all.
Why?
Because Kyler Murray,
because of his issues, his immaturity issues.
No, it's because he hasn't done nothing. If it's Kyler Murray's in the same boat as Dak Prescott, in my opinion. You're talking about a guy who has it all. He had every weapon, and all he can do is just toss it up, and the rest was done by the receiver. Literally, D-Hop. Then D-Hop goes down, and Kyler Murray disappeared.
Kyler Murray went down at the same time.
It doesn't matter.
They both were out for the same amount of time.
It doesn't matter. He went against the Detroit Lions, and I watched every single snap in that game. And I'm telling you,
he completed 70% of his passes this season.
I don't.
70% of his passes were completed.
How many? Where does Kyler Murray rank in attempts?
In attempts?
Yeah, in passing attempts.
I have no clue. I'm gonna look that up right now.
I guarantee you, it's not even top 10. I guarantee you. He's not top 10.
He had 481 attempts this year.
Which is probably good for what? Somewhere in the top 15, 20?
We're going to find out right now. I'm going to pull it up right now.
I'm telling you, here's a guy who, for the most part, literally for the most part, had everything around him. Everything. And nothing happened as soon as that one weapon went out. In and of himself, he could not carry that team. It just did not happen. There's no way to sugarcoat that. We can't overlook the fact that this guy, nobody's ever going to say that the Cardinals don't have talent. No, it's never going to be.
Kyler Murray ranked 19th in attempts this year.
Exactly. So 70% of his passes don't care.
But between 19 and the top 10, only 40 pass attempts separated them.
I don't care if it was only 40 pass attempts. Here's what I know. I know that in the big times when his number one safety blanket was gone, he was a choke artist. That's what I noticed. The same way I would be critical. I would be critical of Aaron Rodgers right. in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers could be the MVP of every season. No one cares when you ain't the one hosting that Lombardi.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like Kyler Murray can't be in the top 10 because he doesn't have certain things. He doesn't have. You can't say he clutch. You can say he could throw a good ball up for D-Hop to grab.
I think his football IQ is really good. I really like Kyler Murray. I like his quarterback presence. I agree with you, though. I do agree with you. He's got to prove to me coming in, which is why I only had him at 9, because I'm really high on Kyler Murray. I was really high on the Arizona Cardinals this year. And so he does have to prove, because he might find himself outside of the top 10 this year when we do the list next year. I just, for me, Kyler Murray, his intangibles, his quarterback presence, the thing that he can do, just for me, I don't find that in Russell Wilson anymore. I just don't.
But you know why you don't? Because Russell Wilson, like Dak Prescott, like Kyler Murray, like Tom Brady, like a lot of these quarterbacks that we hype up and fall in love with, because that's the narrative that's being pushed to us. The same way they put certain narratives on every sport, it'd be people that I never even heard of that all of a sudden become the spokesperson of that sport. They push those narratives on us, and then what we do is we fall in love and we can't see no wrong that they do. Damn that. I can see the wrong, because I can just go, okay, where is this gene at? Right? Where is this? You know, we talk about all the accolades of some of these people. That's great. But when you start talking about games matter, who cares? Who cares? When it's big time games, they need big time moments. Where are you?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you talk about Russell Wilson, you don't talk about attempts. Russell Wilson only had 400 attempts this year. That was right. 80 less than Kyler Murray, and his completion percentage was only at 64%. He had 3,100 yards passing. He ranked 22nd in yards passing this year. And you want to talk about not having an offensive line? He was behind Jared Goff. He was behind Taylor Heineke. He was behind guys like Trevor Lawrence. Those are all guys who have no offensive line either.
Wait, Jared Goff don't got no offensive line? What you talking about?
Get out of here with your Detroit Lions stuff.
Man. Are you serious?
They don't have an offense. They're all right. They're okay.
What?
Come on now.
Bruh, listen. If you want to talk about nobody not having an offensive line, Combs, let's talk about them damn Bears.
I agree. Wait, you ain't telling me nothing I don't know.
I can name you my starting 5. I'm telling you, and other
people. You want to talk about how bad the Bears are? We can talk. They were terrible on offensive line. They were terrible at wide receiver. They didn't know how to use their damn running back. They got one of the top 10 running. No, the Bears. They got one of the top 10 running backs in the game, and they never used them with Matt Nagy.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. They didn't game plan for Justin Fields, so Justin Fields had to adjust to the game plan. And he started doing stupid shit, and it made him look really, really bad. Their wide receiving core was atrocious. Their defense was bad because we decided that we needed 7 tight ends instead of playing our all-pro cornerbacks, and we let them go via free agency. The Bears are a terrible organization. I admit it. But see, the difference between me and you is I can admit when my team sucks.
No, listen. I can admit when the team sucks. I'm just saying that we don't have a bad offensive line. Russell Wilson did. And then on top of him having that bad offensive line, he started getting diva mentality.
But he's not the only one that I threw out there that had a bad offensive. Ben Roethlisberger had a bad offensive line. He was behind him.
But you had Ryan. But you didn't see me disagree with you though.
You had Trevor Lawrence. Like those. But that's what I'm saying. When we start talking about all these guys that I have above Russell Wilson, you're like, well, I mean, you know, your big beef against Kyler Murray was, you know, he didn't throw for a whole lot of attempts. That's why his numbers were higher.
No. My beef was he didn't have a lot of attempps, and he had a lot of weapons outside of it. So what ended up happening was
so did Russ.
Wait. He didn't have a lot of weapons. He still had a lot of weapons outside of it. Russ didn't have a lot of weapons. We're not going.
What are you talking? The 2 of the best wide receivers in the game are in Seattle.
But the difference that you're missing, Comb, is this. In the case of Kyler Murray, Kyler Murray's production went down when Hop went out. When D Hop wasn't able to produce, he did not look the same. And
how is that possible? They got hurt in the same game and they came back the same week.
And what happened?
But how can you blame that on Kyler Murray? He wasn't in the game.
No.
Kyler Murray was hurt at the same time that D Hop was hurt.
Right. But what happened after Kyler Murray came back, right? They had a game that they should have won against Detroit. By all representatives, people thought that they was going to destroy the Detroit Lions. He could not really find D Hop, and Detroit had me and you playing corner. He had a sack He wasn't even smart enough to understand the safety was more important to take.
Yo, can I get that game check though?
I'm just saying you can get this game check for real. But I'm just saying, if you go through and you look at the collapse, now I saw one funky Lion fan ask this question where he said, was that collapse because of Kingsbury or Murray? What I saw were decisions that were poor decisions made by the quarterback. There were throws where I'm like, you got to put that in front of him because he can keep running, right? And there were throws where I'm like, you're just gonna force that up to D Hop. It's double coverage. Like I know he's good, but for sweet Jesus, why are you doing this? So I'm just pointing out, but I'm not telling you I hate Kyler Murray. I just can't put him in the top 10. He's not there yet.
All right.
You can't say he's clutch. You can't tell me he's a individual game changer. He's good right now, but for the most part, he's got too much going on that team to not give me more. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
just putting it out there.
So then we're get back to the original question is where Russell Wilson's at. So what I'm hearing is you would have Russell Wilson ahead of Justin Herbert, right?
Yeah, because Justin Herbert's still incomplete for me. Although he's had two good seasons, he's still incomplete.
So we got two incompletes with Herbert and Joe Burrow.
Yep.
You said you would take him ahead of Lamar. You would take him ahead of Dak. You would take him ahead of Kyler. Would you take him ahead of Kirk Cousins?
No, not now.
Okay. Then right now you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks that you would take ahead of, and that's just assuming you wouldn't take any of the other ones ahead of of Russell Wilson either.
No.
So then essentially you would have him as like your top 6. You would have him in your top 6.
Yeah, he's somewhere in that area,
and that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me.
Again, you got to keep in mind, I do put things in perspective, and my views are always different. And so I'm not trying to make it like difficult or try to make it seem like I just want to be different, but I watch the games closely and I watch little pieces and I'm like, look, I notice little patterns and stuff. Like I'm ecstatic that Aaron Rodgers is staying in the NFC North. This makes me excited. Yeah. I was so ecstatic for so many reasons. If I had my own, you know what? I'm doing a top 10. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a top 10 video why I'm excited that the Green Bay Packers capped Aaron Rodgers.
I'm with you. All right, so let's go there. Okay, before we get out of here tonight, let's go there. Aaron Rodgers signs this deal with Green Bay, and whether it's $200 million or whether it's $180 million or $175 million, whatever it is, he's going to be in that ballpark, right?
Okay.
So you're telling me, and Packers fans are ecstatic. Wyatt and Tori, who are on our show from time to time, big Packers fans, posting on Facebook, I told you my quarterback wasn't going anywhere. My quarterback's back. And my immediate response to them is, congratulations. You're a 37-year-old quarterback who has been to as many Super Bowls in his career as who in that time, so has Rex Grossman. You are bringing him back to be the highest paid player in NFL history for what? To lose in the first round? To lose in the NFC title game? And now he's going to take up 25% of your. You were already $47 million over the cap last year with what you were paying Aaron Rodgers, and now who's he going to throw to? Well, they franchise tag Devontae Adams. If I'm Devontae Adams, I hold out, by the way. That's another issue. If I'm Devontae Adams, I hold out. I'm not playing on the franchise tag. You're going to pay me. You just show me you got a bunch of money. You're going to pay me. And if you don't, I'm going to go play somewhere else because I am not playing another down for you under the franchise tag. That's not happening. And if Devontae Adams is smart, he goes over to Aaron Rodgers and says, hey, look, give me paid too, man. One of the funniest memes that I saw yesterday that sums up Aaron Rodgers' personality and career perfectly, right? It was the one where you got Tom Brady at the top, and he says, I took less money so I could bring the kids who look up to me to more Super Bowls. And at the bottom of it, you have Aaron Rodgers on the phone and says, fuck them kids.
But it's the truth, though. It's the truth. The level, like if you want to be on a Tom Brady, nobody talks about the amount of pay cuts he took. You know who else took a lot of pay cuts? Stafford. Stafford took a lot of pay cuts to keep a lot of people, and people don't talk about that. Now, Russ did the same thing too. I'll give him his props, but man, when I tell you that, like you said, over the cap, you take it up 25% on just that one player, not to mention, what is it, 18 to 20 million for the franchise tag if he signs it. And I don't think he's going to sign it because he's going to argue I'm the best receiver in the league. And
he is.
And he is. And so now you're talking about a guy who you're not going to have. And you're going to lose Scantling. So who is his running mate? Right?
Who's
Adams' running mate?
I have no clue.
And then the defense is so suffering. Zadarius Smith is going to have to take a pay cut or be released. Practice Smith going to take a pay cut or be released. You're going to lose players. Most of your money is tied up on offense, and you're still not going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and look, I said this. I think I said this morning when Buck called me up. I'm on my way to work, and all of a sudden my phone rings. Buck calls me up. He's doing the morning show, and I'm talking sports with him on my way into work. But you look at it, and I think that even the Bakhtiari, I think him calling Bakhtiari's wedding was a parting prize for Bakhtiari because they ain't going to be able to pay him either. There is going to be – he's complaining about all the lack of parts that he's had his entire career. Well, you ain't going to have no parts now.
Nope. You
are the part.
Yeah.
And you've already shown that you can't be the part and win a Super Bowl.
And the worst part of it is this. I know a lot of people don't they hate when I say 18 years, right? Because 18 years is not fair. He didn't play for the first 2 or 3 years. And I'm like, I don't care. Okay. As you said, Rex Grossman has had the same amount of Super Bowl appearances as him, although he didn't win it. Stafford has won a Super Bowl, right? Yep. And a guy who Aaron Rodgers respects, so I ain't gonna kill him on that. But then you go through and you look at it, and you start to see where it's like, look at all the people who have the same number of Super Bowls this year.
In that time frame, Tom Brady has been to 8 Super Bowls since Aaron Rodgers came into the league. He went to 2 before Aaron Rodgers came in the league. It's been to 8 since.
because you know what it is? I mean, hell, Patrick Mahomes has been to 2.
Yeah.
And you're not going to tell me that Patrick Mahomes had a more talented team than the Packers. That's BS. I'm sick of this super team stuff. The same way everybody tried to downplay the success of Matthew Stafford. He had a super team.
I'm pretty sure, didn't he have Donald Driver when he first came in the league?
He had Donald Driver, Greg Jennings.
Yeah.
And then Donald Driver left. Greg Jennings moved. And then he had Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
Then Greg Jennings left. Then he went from Jordy Nelson. He had Jordy Nelson and
they won
Adams.
with Nelson and Jennings, right? Is that who they won the Super Bowl with?
I think that's what it was. Yeah, Nelson and
2011.
Jennings.
Yeah.
And not to mention, he had tight ends. He had running back. This is why Aaron Rodgers infuriates me.
And he went to that Super Bowl because our freaking quarterback decided to spend the last quarter of the NFC title game on a freaking exercise bike on the sidelines.
I mean, again.
Son of a bitch.
If you just look at it, right? I had somebody tell me this. I got a friend. He's a Packer fan, right? Big Packer fan. And he goes, yeah, baby, pay that man. Highest paid quarterback. And I was like, great. Yeah. Y'all, we finna run this division. I said, y'all don't have any money. Y'all can't resign none of y'all people.
And congratulations, you're gonna run what division for the next 4 years? What division? You have no competition in the division anyway. You could have ran Jordan Love and probably won this division.
But they're not even gonna win the. I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna tell you why they're gonna have a hard time even with this division. They're about to have the bare bone crew. I don't think people understand what they did. They just gave a contract to Aaron Jones. They paid Zadarius Smith. They paid Preston Smith. They just paid Aaron Rodgers. They gave a franchise tag to Devontae Adams. And you got Jair Alexander coming up for contract. You can't keep them all.
And that's the thing. Like, that's another thing why I'm happy that they kept him, because you know what? If they're not winning the division, that means that either the Bears, the Lions, or the Vikings are winning the division, and we're getting a chance to beat the Packers with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback. And I couldn't ask for anything more. Look, I think that the right now it's the Vikings who are the closest to winning the division.
Actually, I think it's a little bit. I disagree, and I'll tell you
really.
Why. I don't like who they added for head coach.
Really, you don't. Why?
I think it's a reach. I think the mastermind behind what
you think Kevin O'Connell is a reach.
Yeah, I think the mastermind behind what the Rams did is McVay. Every time I notice, because he has dumb patterns. When dumb things happen, I'm like, that's a McVay move. And when it's going good, that's a McVay adjustment. I don't think Kevin O'Connell is going to get anything out of the Vikings.
But don't you think he learned? You don't think that because he's been under Sean McVay for the last 4 seasons? You don't think he's learned anything at least?
Dan Campbell been under Sean Payton for over whatever seasons. You learn some things, but I don't know if he's a leader or man. I don't know if he's somebody that's.
And that's the thing. That's the wild card, right? It's the same position that I'm at with the Bears, like with Eberflus. Like maybe he's the right guy. Maybe he's the right guy. I don't know.
I think he's
but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until he proves me wrong. The same way I did with Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy proved me wrong quick.
Was fortunate. He was fortunate. He was very fortunate.
Well, yeah, they had a really good defense his first season, and they went 12-4.
No, something else happened that lined up for him that year. Something else happened that lined up for him. You remember? The Packers.
Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Then the Lions had Stafford got hurt. And then on the Viking side, half they goddamn defense died. I just so it was a fortunate year in my opinion because I don't think he ever got close to that record again.
Well, no, in the offense, he was an offensive guru. The offense was terrible.
Yep.
The offense was absolutely atrocious that year. We had a kicker who couldn't hit anything other than the goalposts. It was insane how many posts he hit that year. I almost feel like he deserved to get points for all the posts he was hitting because that's pretty damn accurate.
Well, I can tell you this much. To me, anybody who thinks that Aaron Rodgers deserves all this praise just simply need to understand the simple part of it all. If all they kept saying that this bad man makes people better around him, he wouldn't have been complaining, saying that he needs this and this and this receiver.
Yep.
Every year since he's been there, they have drafted offensive linemen to help him, running backs to help him. They've signed and drafted tight ends to help him. They've signed and drafted receivers to help him. They've loaded the defense up. And I'm telling you, there is nobody on this earth who's going to help me understand how the bad man at home against a team who coming from way sunny California, even if it get cold in California, it don't get Wisconsin cold, you lose at home and only can muster 10 points. Yeah. Not buying.
Yeah. To a West Coast team at that.
That's what I'm saying. They had to travel, and I think they played. I don't even want to get into it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It was. It's look. I'm one of those who says I think that Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 quarterback of all time.
Okay.
But he cannot perform in January. He just can't. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's maybe he can't wait to get to his little 12-day cleanse that he does every year because he gets to do an enema to himself. Maybe that's what he's looking forward to the most is the enemas. But he just can't perform in January, and that's going to be a stigma that's going to carry around for a long time. That one Super Bowl is going to be enough, and his regular season acumen is going to be enough to get him into the Hall of Fame. But I mean, we had the same knock on Peyton Manning, but at least he won 2 Super Bowls and went to 2 more.
But see, here's the thing, though. You would think with somebody with this level of greatness, Dan Marino, how many Super Bowls he went to? I thought it was 3.
Yeah.
2? Was it 2 or 3?
2.
Okay. So he got the 2, right?
Yeah.
And
2. Eli Manning.
But listen, this is what I'm saying. Nobody wants to talk about this. As great as he's been in the regular season, and all the jokes I heard about Stafford being Pat Stafford and all this other trash that people was pushing, This man is putting up great numbers, and sometimes I've watched him. I've watched him a whole season to get that man McCarthy fired, protect his stats while taking sacks smartly and throwing the ball away. I've never heard of the number one quarterback in the NFL leading the league in throwaways. I've never heard of this. Never. And like you said, come January, when it's playoff time, where is he? If this was any other quarterback, we were going to town on him. He's 11-12. Like, dude.
Yeah.
And out of those 11 games he won, they all were like close. But the ones where he won the most is when he's at home, he's losing the most. And it's like, dude, you're not somebody that I fear. I don't fear him. You know, like everybody thought it was a joke when the Lions beat the Packers, but I'm like, they was doing them dirty before the halftime in both games.
That's one of those things too. And I know. So Wyatt was all happy. And he posted a meme out there of he's like, can't wait to watch, my quarterback again. And he has this meme or this gif of Aaron Rodgers jumping up and down, smiling. I said, yeah, until January. And then I had that gif of him after he got sacked against Arizona with a chin strap up against his mouth.
That's terrible. Listen, I have a friend that I was trolling, where I put up a photo that said, it was a picture of Aaron Rodgers getting sacked by the 49ers. And it says, when you're trying to hold on to your league MVP, knowing that you're not going to the Super Bowl. I made another one that said that league MVP back to back. Yep. I said every stat that you can have known to man regular season. Yep. Playoff greatness. Nope. Super Bowl appearances. Nope. And I said, and your MVP trophy collects dust because nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
So true. And I just don't know, I don't know what the heck is the problem. I don't know why. I don't get it. I don't get why they're so bad in January. I don't get why he can't win in January because he is a really talented quarterback. He's shown, sometimes glimpses of maybe had he been in New England, he could have been an all-time quarterback better than Tom Brady, right? But he just can't win when it comes to January, and I don't get it. I don't know if it's they have had really bad offensive lines. They have had this and that, but he's had weapons. He's had opportunities.
Yeah,
so I just don't know.
Excuses.
And speaking of trolling the Packers, I created this one last year when they got knocked out of the NFC title game.
Yep. Put him to sleep. Dude. How?
Yeah.
They have regular season records and get to the first game and be like, see you, thank you, next. Again, keep in mind, these are the things that I'm looking at. And this is where I'm proud of Seattle. I'm proud of Seattle saying, man, we're hitting the reset button. I'm not going to play with this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not. You don't want to be here? Bye.
Right.
See you later.
No, and I agree. I mean, when you sit back and think about it, because I have said that, that the Green Bay Packers have done a bad job of building around Aaron Rodgers. But when I sat back and think about it, I mean, run game wise, possibly he's had some good running backs.
He had them all. I can name them running backs. If you go through and you look at these teams, it ought to be a crime.
Yeah, I mean, they missed really bad on Eddie Lacy because Eddie Lacy just started eating everything.
Let's say you know what? I'll indulge you. Let's say Eddie Lacy was hot garbage, right? Let's just hypothetically say that he was hot garbage. Eddie Lacy didn't give him anything, although I thought Eddie Lacy did him okay. Ryan Grant was solid.
Yeah.
Right. So if we can go down that road. We can go down to Ryan Grant. They had what's the other dude name? You obviously have Aaron Jones, Ryan Grant. I'm drawing a blank of the other damn dude name. The one that was backing up Eddie Lacy. God, I just
wasn't that Ryan Grant? I thought
No,
Ryan Grant was backing up Eddie Lacy.
No, remember Ryan Grant got hurt, and they had another guy. Was it Starks? Was his name or something? The guy.
Oh,
catching the ball at the backfield.
Yep, Starks
or something like that. They had him balling for him. Then they had that other big dude, Brandon Jackson.
Yeah,
he gave them some run game. They had I'm trying to think of some of the running backs he's had. And again, only reason I know some of these damn players is because I'm a Lions fan. It's my job to know my enemy, right? like I'm supposed to know it. But I remember they added Cedric Benson to the squad at one point.
Yeah. And then like wide receiver wise, I mean, they've had some really Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, Devontae Adams. I mean, they've
James
got
Jones.
Yeah.
Keep going. They had the offensive line. TJ Lane got paid by the Lions because we thought we was getting another stud. And he's on a very good line doing things. So yeah, keep going. Randall Cobb, don't stop there.
Randall Cobb,
Like we could just what's the other one? They have so many goddamn people. It's ridiculous.
Right.
It's ridiculous, man. When you think about the number, dude, they've had Jimmy Graham, they've had Mercedes Lewis at tight end. They've had talent all over the defense. You had games where Clay Matthews will ball out, and then they still got rid of Clay Matthews ASAP as soon as he showed signs of. Then I think they moved another receiver to running back that went nuts for him. Can't think of his name. Oh, Ty Montgomery.
I'm looking up the list right now of the best wide receivers to play for the Packers in the Aaron Rodgers era. So we've had Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Greg Jennings, James Jones, Donald Driver. Here, who else we got here? Keep going, see what they have else on the list.
You gotta put Valdez Scantling in there. He's balling for them.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's been playing well for them lately.
They gave him at tight end. They gave him Jimmy Graham, Mercedes Lewis, Marcellus Bennett.
Yep.
They gave him Ty Montgomery at running back, which I thought was a damn cheat code because it worked.
Yeah.
They gave him Jamal Williams. They gave him Aaron Jones. They gave him Brandon Jackson, Ryan Grant, Stark. I mean, come on. We could just tell the truth. And the offensive line, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on the offensive line. Because I remember when they added Jair Evans from the Saints, I was like, oh, okay, they serious.
Yeah, here we go. So we've got Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard, Mercedes Lewis, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, Valdez Scantling, Tyler Davis. He's got that other kid too that's come up too, Equanimous St. Brown.
Well, he don't count. They don't count him. People can't stand him, and I think he's gonna be a Lion anyway. He's gonna join his brother over here with us. I think the Lions add the other St. Brown kid, and I think they go at the Valdez Scantling. I really believe that. I think they already brought back Josh Reynolds. We still got Quintez Cephas for the slot. We still got Amon-Ra for the slot. You bring back Scantling. There go your other big receiver that go to the outside, and you got the brother there who you can motivate into something because we known for taking brothers. Really, we got both the Julian Okoras, and it's been a few other people we don't took that's related. But yeah, the dude has had talent, bro. Nobody's going to convince me that. I mean, Brian Beluga, Lindsey. I mean, the dude has had talent. And defensively, dude, they've had it all. The Kenny Clarks, the Mike Daniels. And before somebody say Mike Daniels was trash, he balled out for Green Bay. You're lying if you say he didn't. You're a liar. He balled out for Green Bay. He got hurt, and that's when production went down, and y'all moved on from him. But he balled out for y'all.
Yeah, I'm going through the list of all the wide receivers and everybody who's caught a touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers. See what we got on here. He had Jeff Janis. He was there for a hot minute. Ryan Grant, Jared Cook, Jared Boykin. Let's see, who else they have there? Ty Montgomery, Tom Crabtree, Mercedes Lewis, Corliss. I forget about him too, man. He was good for about 2 seasons. James Starks, Jimmy Graham, Alan Lazard, Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, Eddie Lacy, Geronimo Allison, John Kuhn, Valdez Scantling, Donald Lee, Richard Rodgers, Jermichael Finley, another tight end you forget about, Donald Driver.
They had them all, bro. He had it all. What he did, what can you say that he did not have? Defense had it. Hall of Fame player on his team had it. What he didn't have?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
Rex Grossman did more with less, and he admits he wasn't good.
Yeah,
he admits it.
I agree. So we are getting towards the end of the show here. As always, everybody knows that if you like to collect autographed sports memorabilia, as I do, you can collect on Three Guys Sports Collectibles on Facebook. You can catch me on there. I run all of their baseball stuff. They got prime gear in their breaks at prices. If you're looking to sell, buy, trade, this is the site for you. I actually just won a helmet the other day off of there from one of our guys. I always show them off when I win them when they come in the mail. So let me grab it.
Also, while you're doing that, I want to correct myself. Dan Marino went to one Super Bowl. Yeah. I'm thinking of Jim Kelly, who went to all those Super Bowls. My bad.
So this one, I don't know how long I'll have it in my house.
Oh, that's nice.
This is my new one. This is the Donald Driver.
That's nice.
Yeah.
The matted black.
Yeah, I do. It is kind of nice.
Yeah, the Packers would never do that.
Yeah.
They would never do that.
This one up here, man, I've thought about trying to sell it or give it away. This is a full size. This one's, but you're not going to see it anymore because it's got the Redskins logo, but it's a chrome, and it's got all three of their Super Bowl MVPs on there. You got Mark Rippon, Doug Williams, and Joe Theismann.
Well, I mean, the metallic look is a dope look. I don't collect sports memorabilia. I got kids, and they take all my money. Yeah,
I got 6 kids, bro.
Do you?
Yeah.
Man, you the man, dude. I got 2 kids, and all I keep hearing about is Coco Melon and Ryan. If I hear them names, dude.
Have they gotten into Blippy yet?
Oh, don't get me started on Blippy.
Oh God. That guy's going to prison at some point, right? Like that. Dude, does he creep you out? He creeps me out.
He creeps me out. Yeah, but he's worth over millions.
I know.
Like I know. They said that he is more popular than Pee Wee Herman right now.
That's
all
crazy.
from YouTube. It's amazing to me, dude.
It's crazy, and we can't get more than 11 views on YouTube. What the hell are we doing wrong? We gotta start talking silly and all sorts of funny voices and doing stupid shit,
dude.
So the kids will start watching us.
It's so uncomfortable. But I can tell you this.
It's crazy.
I can tell you this much. One of the things that when it comes to talking sports is you will always have the fan bases who will reject you if they know that they're not going to hear their team news.
Oh yeah,
solely.
For sure. There's a lot of things are localized. They want to hear about their local sports, their local teams.
Right.
We kind of touch on everything. The thing I think that helps us where we get a lot of views and we say it all the time is that we're live, raw, and cut, and we're honest. We're honest with everything, and we don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like we talk, we talk about everything. We'll even dive into the Brian Flores stuff that we've dived into. We've dived into the race topic. We've dived into everything, and we get, sometimes, look, I've gotten emails. I got an email after we talked about the Brian Flores thing about you don't understand. You don't know anything. This is why Brian Flores said you could never understand because you're white. I
will say this, though. I will say this because I'm a little annoyed because it said that the NFL was quick and swift to tag Calvin Ridley with gambling. But I'm not hearing any news about the investigation to this dude paying teams to tank, which interferes with the integrity of the league.
Not only that, but let's be realistic, right? How many games did Ray Rice get when he beat that woman on the elevator? How many games did Ray Rice get?
He really got 6, but I think
it was 2, maybe 4.
No. He got the worst end of it.
Well, he ended up not playing in the league anymore.
Right.
But then you look at okay, so how much time did did Adrian Peterson? How many suspended games did Adrian Peterson get for whooping his kid bloody in the genital area?
4.
Yeah, 4 games.
Yep. Yeah,
but we got a guy who smokes weed. He misses how many seasons? And then we got a guy. Then we got a guy who uses FanDuel, and now he's gone for a full season.
And taking
but
it
yet
further.
we got owners who are paying guys to tank, and there's nothing that's being done.
I haven't heard anything.
The whole thing is stupid to me. I get the gambling thing, right? Gambling's big in sport. You do not gamble on the sport in which you play. You want to gamble on baseball. You want to gamble on hockey. You want to gamble on basketball. By all means, you don't gamble on the game that you play.
But you know,
especially
funny,
at a time where you're saying you're taking time off for mental reasons. Like
there is a clip going around showing him in games doing things that nobody can explain, where he's clearly got a step on a guy with a chance to score, and he inexplicably stops and changes direction. I've never seen. I'm like, that's strange.
That's what I'm saying. That's what and that whole thing that he did. That's why you don't bet on the game that you play. And once you get caught, everything you do from here on out is going to be questioned, right?
Yep.
Like if you're playing 2 years from now, you're in a game and you got the game-winning touchdown pass slip through your hands. People gonna wonder.
Yep.
And that's your fault.
And it happened with the NBA. The NBA still was hurting from that scandal.
With the referees?
As a Pistons fan, okay, this gonna sound crazy. As a Pistons fan, I knew we were being cheated. I said, yo, something ain't right. And when we came out as one of the teams and we lost a championship because of it, come on now.
Yeah. And that's even worse, man, when the refs are in on it, because a ref can control the outcome of a game now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like players can to a certain point. Like if you've got the game on your hands and you're the most targeted player and you're consistently dropping passes, then you can affect the game too. But a ref can affect it by calls, by taking away points, by doing all sorts of things.
Right.
And I mean, so that's why the gambling thing to me, I get. Like, I understand, all right, a full season, I'm good with that. But you can't tell me why is that a harsher punishment than domestic violence?
Because you know why? The NFL has been trying to keep their hands clean out of social issues for the longest. I remember when a well-known football player who played for the Rams named Leonard Little was continuously caught drunk driving and even killed somebody.
Yeah.
And he didn't serve a season-long suspension. I remember when a receiver named Dante Stallworth, who played for the Saints, got drunk and killed somebody.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he didn't do a full season. And then MAD got involved, which is Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They got involved, and then the punishments got stiffer, right? Because that one receiver now,
as well as they should.
Right, but now you see that one receiver who got into the car accident that killed somebody in the dog. He's out of the league. They're done with him, right?
Oh, with the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders. I'm drawing a blank on his name though right now. And then you look at the other thing. I remember when D'Angelo Williams first came into the league, he started the campaign for breast cancer. He was fined multiple millions of dollars for wearing the pink gloves. Now it's Henry Ruggs, yeah. So, but now it's a whole nother level now with the pink now because they can get behind it, and it's one of them things where you see this happening too often. When the kneeling took place, they was like, oh, sending out letters, nobody kneeled. Then when they started getting it, okay, everybody we can support it. They don't know how to deal with this, and then even when they had the first openly gay man into the draft and Michael Sams, they were trying to get behind it and doing it, and it was like, oh, let's do it. And they really never really fully went behind it because nobody waited on it. And then when you got was it Herbert that did it? Who's the other guy now that's on the Bengals who are openly gay? I think it's one of them DNs.
Oh, it's Hendricks, yeah.
Hendricks. So
he's a stud.
And so now what they're gonna do? Tell him he can't be enough. That's what I'm saying. They'll get behind anything that makes them money. It's a machine driven by revenues, and I understand it. But the reality is The Kings
they're so deep in bed with sports gambling. The NFL is so deep in bed with it.
Well, this is why I hate fantasy football. At first, people forget this.
You got to get off my fantasy football now, man.
Dude,
I made like $1,400 this year off fantasy football.
They were finding players who were playing fantasy football, and now it's like a big thing. They got shows and everything.
Well, yeah, I mean it's the same thing, right? Like it's the same thing playing fantasy football as it is gambling on the game, because then you start seeing the videos of running routes inexplicably or passes you should have caught that are getting dropped that are looking at more closely. It's the same thing if you're starting, if you're in the game and you find out on your fantasy team that if you win the game you're going to win $10,000 in this league pool that you're playing in, and all of a sudden you're dropping passes to get that defense points. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can look into, so I do understand it.
I do want to ask you this, because this is something I've been thinking about, because you're a Bears fan. What the hell are y'all gonna do? Like, what are y'all gonna do in free agency? Who should y'all draft? Because right now I've been on this train. I think the Lions are going to take Kyle Hamilton. I have said this for over a couple of months ago. Yeah. I know that people are like, oh, they're not going to do it, and I'm like, I just think that's who they're going to take. I think if Aiden Hutchinson is still available, they will still take Kyle Hamilton, because he's that big of a game changer. I don't know nobody since Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu and Sean Taylor who can cover the whole field. I just don't see it.
So I think they're going to address the wide receiver position as far as the Bears. They're going to address the wide receiver position in free agency. Okay. There's a bunch of big free agents out there. The Bears always, and I don't care what anybody says, the Bears always end up signing a big name free agent wide receiver when they're available. You got Amari Cooper. Does Devontae Adams become available?
No, he won't.
But hold on, let me pull up the list. I just had the list up the other day too. And the Bears always find a way to do that. But as far as the draft goes, if they draft anybody that is not an offensive lineman, it's a bad draft. That's what you need. You need to project Justin Fields. You need to go out and get all the offensive line help you can get, because you have no offensive line. You could replace every offensive lineman you have on this Bears team, and I'd be okay with it. These are the so you got Kevin Jenkins. You got Juju Smith-Schuster as a free agent. You got Christian Kirk's a free agent. DJ Shark is a free agent. Michael Gallup's a free agent. Odell Beckham Jr. is a free agent, but he's not going to play this season. Antonio Brown, stay the hell away from that guy.
Odell Beckham going back to LA, I think, but that's another story.
Chris Godwin's a free agent, isn't he?
No, he got franchise tag.
Oh, did he? All right.
Yep.
So, and then the Bears just let go of Allen Robinson. They chose not to franchise tag him. To me, Allen Robinson's not a big. He can't win a jump ball to save his life. He's never been able to. And that's what you need you need a deep threat with Justin Fields, because he likes to throw the ball deep, and he throws a good deep ball. So you need somebody who can get out into the open and win balls one-on-one. He said, "Go Lions" says DK is available. I would love for them to go get DK, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Y'all can't afford that price tag.
Yeah, they can. What do you mean they can't? Who are they paying?
I mean, look, y'all can't afford that price tag.
They can.
What are y'all pick at right now?
Our first pick in the draft is 39th.
What are you?
We don't have a first round pick.
Right. So what are you using to get Metcalf?
You could get DK Metcalf for a couple of second round picks, I bet.
What? You know.
What do you mean? What? He's a. First of all, he's a wide receiver in the league. The wide receivers are looked at just like running backs are replaceable. You're not getting a bunch of first round draft picks unless it's a quarterback.
You're not giving up second round picks and taking a young receiver that's on the up. No way. No way.
If you are any team in this league, you don't give Seattle anything more than a second round pick for DK Metcalf. Force him to hang on to him. Go ahead. Hang on to him. He doesn't want to play there. He doesn't want to be there.
We'll be hanging on to him then.
He might want to be there. He might want to be there if Deshaun Watson goes there.
I'll put it this way. I'll put it to you this way, okay? There is no way. I mean, we all thought it was crazy when the Texans lost their mind and got mad at D-Hop and traded him for what, a second?
Yep.
That don't happen.
Does Seattle make a run at Deshaun Watson, do you think? Do you think that they take these picks that they just got, plus package a couple of their own picks in the future for Deshaun Watson?
I think I can see them making the run for him. I can see them trying to see what they can get for him. But I think ultimately their plan is if I have to play with Drew Lock, I'll play with Drew Lock, and I'm going to draft my quarterback. That's
Rule says, Combs, look at me. Flag on the play.
I'm telling you, bro, it's a second round pick for DK Metcalf. Come on, man.
Look, I didn't say a second round. I said multiple second round picks. I said multiple. I'll give you three or four second round picks. Yeah, I'll give you 3 or 4 second round picks, and you can have any one of my offensive linemen because you need offensive line help. You can have any of them. I'll tell you where you take all 5 of them if you want.
Even Tevin Jenkins? Would you do Tevin Jenkins? Just hear me out. Would you do Tevin Jenkins and Khalil Mack in a second?
Yeah.
You would?
I would for DK, yeah. You know why?
Hell
because
yeah, I would give you that deal.
You want it? Do you really want a big offensive lineman with back issues, just coming off of back surgery? Like, to me, that makes him an expendable piece.
That's okay. We'll take that expendable piece and ride with it. Put him at guard and let him rock and roll. Hell yeah.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Listen, I'll tell you this much, Combs. If you're looking at the way that the league is going, I think you're getting ready to get to a point where if you got too much lip and people are tired of you, they're going to move on from you. The only reason the Packers kept Aaron Rodgers is because they didn't have no trade partners. I really believe their general manager when they said nobody came calling because they figure, why would I go and take this contract and everything like that? And then he's going to act that same way. I want to know he wants to be here. I'll talk to him in free agency. So I don't think he had no trade partners. I really believe that nobody. I think there's a lot of people. Like, I think Denver probably was down for it. I think the football team was probably down for it.
Rule of the Jungle says that Henry Ruggs is out of the league because he killed a dog.
And
Henry Ruggs, it was a person.
Yeah, a dog and the person.
There was a woman in the car with the dog.
Right, like it wasn't just like the dog drove the car. It's not like
they
a dog
even talked about the horrific
around.
Screaming from the woman who died in the fire because it burst into flames. He killed a woman and a dog. It wasn't just a dog. Yeah. And not only that, but he was driving like 140 miles an hour, and his blood alcohol content was twice the legal limit.
Again, people, please don't drink and drive.
No,
I don't know why. In 2022, we got to keep saying this,
dude. Look, I'm gonna tell you this, Luke. I'm gonna tell you this. I myself don't make more than $30 an hour at my place of business, right? And I work 60 hours a week. So after taxes and everything, you can say I probably bring home, somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000, right? That's nowhere near what an NFL player makes, right?
Right.
But I've got a bar in the basement full of liquor.
Right.
I don't have to go
that you don't have to go nowhere. Like,
yes.
You can have the greatest party.
Yes.
And imagine this. Imagine the fact that you can buy almost anything you want in your house.
Yes.
In your house. It amazes me.
And not only that, but if I'm out with a bunch of friends and I have too much to drink, I still have enough money in my pockets to call an Uber.
Damn that. These people, like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather talks about how he drinks all the time. He says, I drink a lot. He said, when I want to party, he said, but I got like multiple drivers, multiple security. I don't, when I'm partying, I got people who are not going to let me fail. So I don't know why these other people don't do this, but I'm amazed at the things that we still have to deal with in 2022. It's crazy to me. Now, I did want to touch on one topic before we got out of here because I know you're gonna, wrap it up. I did want to touch on one topic because I was having this conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And if you look at the NFC North as a whole, at the NFC North, 3 teams, the Lions are doing a rebuild, or I should say doing a build. the Vikings are retooling, and the Bears, I'm not sure what to call what y'all doing because
you're kind of in between a retool and a rebuild, right?
Okay. So of all those three teams, you're gonna have three new head coaches, right? Going into it. Of those teams, who has the best chance to pull off a Bengals and go from like worst to first? Lions, Vikings,
I would say the Vikings because I think the Vikings have the most talent. I think they've got the best quarterback of the three right now today. They have the best quarterback of the three teams. They've got more weapons on wide receiver. I love Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver on any three of those teams. They've probably got the better running back in Dalvin Cook than any three of those teams, although I would argue that Montgomery is up there. So for me, if I was going to rank them, I would go Vikings, Bears, Lions.
Vikings, well, you just hate us.
It's no. I for one, I don't like Jared Goff in any situation. Where if you want me to,
and me both.
I'm not a Jared Goff guy. So that's for one. For two, I just feel like you guys you need help at wide receiver. I don't like your wide receiving core. I don't totally love your offensive line. Your defense is closer than anything.
Wait, you don't like Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Big V, and Sewell? You don't like that?
I like Sewell. I don't like your offensive line as a whole. I don't think that they can.
They haven't had a chance to play together yet.
They're a better offensive line than the Bears, but they're not a better offensive line than the Vikings.
Oh, bullshit. Oh, you gave me a topic for tomorrow, but that's bullshit.
They're a better offensive line than Green Bay too, I think.
I think they're better. I think we have the best offensive line in NFC North. They haven't even been able to play together yet, and they perform. I'm just saying.
So who do you think's closest? You think the Lions are the closest?
I think the Lions are the closest. I think them having that. God. I think them having that one extra year, to get their stuff together. The fact that they have all the draft capital and this
Jared
draft,
Goff is their quarterback.
I know, but you know what happened last year? Guess what happened last year?
Jared Goff is their quarterback. That's what happened.
I know,
but
they realized if they just run the ball, take it out of his hands. Take it out of his hands. They need to do the same thing to Justin Fields. Take it out of his hands.
Yeah, but when you got a quarterback that all you got to do is take it out of his hands, which once people started realizing that about the Tennessee Titans, they started stacking the box. Now, the Tennessee Titans, they've got a running back that you just can't stop no matter. You can put all 12 guys in the box. You ain't stopping Derrick Henry. He'll find a way through. But the Lions don't have that running back. Like, all you got to do is stack that. And I would force Jared Goff to beat me. And he's not going to.
I think with a run game, he will.
I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Look at the second half of the
who's he throwing to?
Well, see, you got to keep in mind, right? The Lions ticked me off a lot last year because they discovered they had talent late, right? Like they didn't know that these people exist. And I'm like, why are we not getting more passes to Amon-Ra St. Brown? And why are we not getting Swift more involved? And why is Derek Barnes not playing more? And they figured it out real late. But what I'm saying
you got Cephas, Reynolds, and St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I do like St. Brown. Quintez Cephas is and Josh Reynolds. I mean, God, every time I hear his name, all I can think of is what movie he's starring in next. But that's Ryan Reynolds. So like, I don't love the core there. The wide receiver core. I do like Swift as a running back. I really do. You guys should have beat the Bears 2 seasons ago if he could catch a damn pass and
that wasn't his fault though. That's another example of poor coaching. You can't take a rookie running back, have him sit all that time, then throw him in on that play and say catch the ball. His first game, his nerves is high as hell. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't.
Yeah, I mean, I do like your cornerbacks. I like your defense a lot. I really do. I think you probably have the second best defense in the division.
I hate our defense. I hate our safeties.
Really?
I hate our safeties minus Tracy Walker. I'm going to be patient with Okudah, but he's a safety in my opinion.
Oh, I love Okudah.
He hasn't done dilly squat. You should love him as a Bear fan. He's gonna give up a touchdown. You should love him. You should be in love with him. I mean, our linebackers were a joke. And our D line, for the most part.
So you don't like Will Harris at all?
No.
Really?
Nope. No. Yeah, it's so tragic that we're
Who's
now
that kid
getting
that you drafted last year?
Ify.
What's his name?
Ify
No, Elliott. Is it
Elliott.
Jalen Elliott? Or was that 2 years ago you drafted him? It was a kid that they got out of God, where the hell did he come from?
We added him as an undrafted.
Oh,
The
you guys!
safety?
I thought you drafted him. Yeah,
No, he was
out of Notre Dame.
Yep, we took him as an undrafted.
Okay.
Or a free agent, I should say.
Yeah. I watched him at Notre Dame. I liked him a lot. I think that once he gets some playing time, gets a little bit of fine tuning, I think he'll be a good safety for you guys too.
Yeah, he's a free agent for us right now. The only two safeties we have under contract right now is Brady Breeze and Will Harris.
I thought they have him for. They didn't sign him for just a 1-year deal, did they?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. They're gonna probably sign him to another 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Go Lions says I like Will Harris. Stop lying. Stop lying. I don't like Will Harris.
I don't think the Lions are the closest, man. I think you're fooling yourself. You guys don't have what the Vikings have. You just don't. You don't have the quarterback that they have. You don't have the wide receivers that they have. You certainly don't have the running back that they have. So I like Swift, but we have
a better coaching staff. We have better coaches.
Well, that's to be determined, right? Because they're rookie coaches.
I'm just saying, right? we have better coaches.
No,
our guy,
you think
our guy's not a rookie no more. You see, our guy can make a crackhead stop doing drugs, right? Like he has enough motivation.
Your guy,
ability.
No, you said that wrong. Your guy is a crackhead doing drugs.
No, listen, think about it. Think about it like this, right? He's gotten things out of players. We talking about a team that had to play for 17 games and they showed up to play all of them
because they were afraid his crazy ass was going to bring a real lion to practice.
Nope. What it was this: they played for him. They cared about him. Right? Where you saw other teams quitting on their coach, they didn't do that against him.
Why? Because he cried for him?
Nope, because he understood what it takes. He's not in there just as a coach. He's a player. He was on the Lions when they went 0-16. He wants this. He wants to be the change of it. He understands the turmoil this city has been through and what the fans have been through, and he wants to be the reason that they turn it around. The ownership want it.
Luke, you make me want to root for the Lions to be successful because how bad you want to believe in them and how bad I believe you actually believe in this team. I think you're one of the very few that actually believes in this team other than Buck who picks them to win the division every year. But you really, truly believe in this team. So I want them to do well just for you.
Listen, I'll tell you this much. The Lions are a team that you can see was better than their record were last season. It's that team that went 13-1.
So what? They were a 5-win team,
huh?
They were a 5-win team at most.
If you go through and look at the games, they should have won way more games than 5 games. They should have been.
They lost a lot of one-score games.
I think we lost like 6 or 7 of them. But you're talking about we should have beat. First of all, think about this. It took the breath of God for a field goal to bounce off the goalpost when 9.99% of the time it bounced out. It bounced up and over. And you had another guy kick another long field goal.
All right, let's go through this. You lost to the Packers by 7. You lost to the Seahawks by like a century mark. You lost to the Falcons by 4. You lost to the Cardinals by 18.
Wait, you in the wrong year. You're in the wrong year.
No, I'm not. 2021 schedule. No, I'm not.
We beat the Cardinals.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you did. You beat the Cardinals by 18. Sorry.
I'm like, what?
All right. So then you lost to the Broncos by 18. Then you beat the Vikings by 2. You lost to the Bears by 2. You should have won that game. You lost to the Browns by 3. Should have won that game. You tied the Steelers. Should have won that. Should have lost. Should have won. Game, actually,
no. Did you see what he did at the end? We should have scored.
Yeah, I know. But the Steelers were a team that were definitely better than what their record showed. Then you had the Eagles. You got just curb stomped.
You got destroyed. Eagles, Bengals got destroyed.
Yeah, the Rams beat you up pretty good. They beat you by 9. The Vikings again by 2. The Bears beat you by 10. The Ravens by 2. The Packers by 18. and then the 49ers by 8.
Yeah. There was at least
It was about five games
more
and they
games
should have won.
So
an 8-9 team.
Yep. Flag on Luke. Damn it. I got the flag. Damn it. I'm just saying we should have been somewhere between 8 wins. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And they did that. They did that.
Rule says Lions won't win 4 games next year.
Oh. Okay.
I think there'll be a 7-win team next year, Luke.
I think we'll win more than 7, and I think it's all going to hinge upon, do we continue to be a run first team? The Lions, every time you see the Lions win or do anything successful, they're running the ball.
Look, the problem is that I feel like rooting for the Lions to be good is like rooting for the the Patriots to be bad. You really, really, really want it to happen. It just never freaking does.
But you know why though? You know why? In most cases, because we have ownership that didn't respect the process. You have leadership at the GM spot who was willing to sell their soul to their buddies, and then you had coaches who really should have never been coaches in the first place. And now that you look at it, you have a owner now who knows how to text, whereas we had owners for the longest who didn't even know what the hell emails were. So, and then after you got that,
Go Lions is on something.
Well, he just said we should have at least 7 wins this year.
He said 7 wins minimum
for us this season. Yes, but
I think that's your maximum. I think that's your ceiling.
Nah, I think
and it'd be an improvement. It's a 4-game improvement. I mean, that's a good swing.
I think we'll get better.
Teams don't go from 3 to 12 wins, especially when they're the same team. Not when they're the same returning team. Like they're going to be the same returning team.
They're not the same returning team. Half the players we got are gone. Alex Anzalone is not coming back. We got rid of Jamie Collins swiftly after he showed no effort in that damn game against the damn 49ers and Packers, and he was jogging on plays. Got rid of his bum butt. And then you start to go down the list on it. We're going to get linebackers this year. This draft is designed for the Lions. Ask yourself, if you're going to upgrade your linebacking core, what draft would you do it in? This one. If you're going to upgrade your safeties, what draft would you do it in? This one.
Yeah.
You want receivers? Every receiver damn near ran a 4.3. You're going to find somebody.
Who the hell? The 340-pound defensive lineman that ran a 4.7?
Not impressed.
What do you mean you ain't impressed? I couldn't freaking drive 40 yards in 4.7 seconds.
Listen.
Run it.
Listen, we do this every year. We get excited over the 40-yard dash. Just a news flash, Jason Smith had a phenomenal combine. How that
But
work
you
out
can't
for
say
Rams?
it's not impressive.
I'm going to tell you why it's not impressive to me.
He's 6'4", 341
I know,
pounds.
but he's not running. He's not in football. He's not running at a straight line with nobody around him. That's not happening.
Oh, God.
I don't care about the combine like I used to because I realized that
I don't care about the combine either. I think the combine's a farce. But I mean, when you run a 4.740, that you still run a 47.40.
I feel you, but you remember John Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah, what he doing?
I don't even know.
Good question, groceries. Right? No, he's still playing. He's still playing. He just ain't doing nothing. Right? Yeah. Right? Like let's keep going down the list. There's so many people who they got all the speed and stuff. They killed.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. It's still impressive for a man that big to run that. I'm not saying this guy's going to be like a great defensive lineman because you don't want a defensive lineman that can run a 4.7 because what does that do? You run a 4.7, great, but are you going to run 4.740 when there's a fucking 300-pound guy standing right in front of you? No.
My thing is why I'm not impressed with it is the guy is what 6'7",
6'7", 341.
He got long strides. I mean, good for him, but that don't mean nothing to me. Now, if he had to put up like 37 reps on the bench press, oh, now you talking. I value that for a D tackle.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying his position wise aside, just a man that big to run that fast is impressive, no?
Not for me.
Oh.
I'm sorry, not for me.
All right. All right.
Again, if it was something other sport, sure. Track, sure, but not for me.
God. I don't know what Buck's saying on the Facebook, but somebody just said is Buck drunk. Rule of the Jungle says flag on Buck on Facebook.
Right, flag his ass. Whatever he said, flag him. Flag him.
I'm pretty sure. Look, I told him what I told him the other night. I said, Buck, I said, you sound so stupid, and this time it's not because of your stutter.
Listen, first of all,
stupid stuff.
First of all, Buck believed when Buck came on to my channel and told me about the red rifle, and I was like, "Oh wait, but you serious?" I'm like, "Fuck, no, Buck, are you playing?"
No, he believes it.
He's like the red rifle, baby. I'm like, okay, all right.
No,
like, we're gonna leave it alone. But
he thought he's a top 15 quarterback. He thinks Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback, and he believes that he also thought the Lions were a 12-win team this year.
I mean, in spirit, they were.
yeah. In spirit, they were the division champs.
Exactly, in spirit.
But yeah, Buck has some crazy outlandish takes. He says Lamar Jackson is trash, which he's starting to get proved. I wouldn't call him trash.
I'm not gonna call him trash, but
I think he's overrated.
He certainly is a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
So
Buck says they was a play. Buck, what did you say on Facebook that's got everybody riled up? Say it on YouTube, damn it. I don't know what the hell's going on with Facebook.
He said they was a playoff team last season. He said that the Lions was a playoff team. That's what he said. Now, I think that's a fair assessment. I thought they could have made it, but you saw that we came up short a few times, and it is what it is.
A few times.
No, I mean, listen, you got to keep in mind
they were 3-14.
Dude, we picked a running back up who they literally named Netflix because when they found him, he was at home just watching Netflix. He thought his career was done. He came in and balled out at running back for us. We were picking up. Listen, they called you up and you said you was busy. Okay. All right. You said you was busy. They were trying to find players. It was bad.
I would have collected that game check. They ain't calling me.
You said you'd have took that money?
I'd have taken. I couldn't have been any worse than what they put on the field. And I'm bad. Like, it would have been bad. But I wouldn't have been anything worse than anything they put on the field.
Player of all time. Damn it, Buck. Kobe isn't a top 5 player in the NBA of all time. I think Kobe is better than Jordan. Yeah, I said that.
Now you sound stupid.
No, listen.
Look, Kobe to me, I always nix people ask me all the time, especially like when I was living in New England, people find out that I'm from Chicago. That's what they always want to talk about. So Kobe or Jordan or LeBron or Jordan? I said, screw LeBron or Jordan. Is it Kobe or Jordan? I said, Kobe's closer to Jordan than LeBron will ever be. Right. So, but the thing with Kobe is that Kobe put his whole career to try to be Michael Jordan. Right.
I feel you.
His whole game was emulated to be Michael Jordan. That's what he wanted to be.
I think Kobe benefited from the Pistons. I'll explain. Jordan was only Jordan because the league realized that in order for them to have a new marquee guy, they had to do something to stop the Pistons. The Pistons beat the brakes off of him every time. And they changed the rules so Jordan can get off, and that's what happened. And that's why
he altered the game. I mean, he's one of 3 players all time that have actually altered the way the game is played.
No, he didn't alter the game. The league altered the game so he could be the next marquee.
Well, they did the same thing for Wilt Chamberlain.
I know.
The league is altered right now for guys like LeBron James.
Yeah, no, they nobody.
What do you mean? You don't. They don't call. They haven't called traveling in 10 years. That's completely designed for LeBron James.
You said they haven't called traveling. They just okay. Is it?
They don't call traveling in the NBA anymore. Stop it.
Is it called as much as it was? No. However, they still
as much. Traveling. They take 5 steps. They take 5. James Harden travels every time he touches the ball, and he's one of the most prolific scorers in the NBA right now.
Dude, listen, they literally tried to sell the world that Jordan was this phenom, and he gets to the playoffs, and the Pistons stumped them out every time. Every time.
Oh God! Buck's
they
Buck's
changed
drunk.
the rules.
Buck, did you change your job? Are you now like a liquor tester for like
He might.
like? He said LBJ is better than Kobe, Magic is better than Kobe, Kareem is better than Kobe, Jerry West is better than Kobe, Shaq is better than Kobe. Not even a top 5
well, wait a
Laker.
minute. I mean, I think he named a lot of centers, and if you just in love with the centers, then okay. But
And then he said Pippen made Jordan. All right, Buck.
I do believe that Pippen had a lot to do to help out with Jordan too. Because after they changed the rule, Pippen was very just like everybody hypes up. Oh, LeBron won in Cleveland. Kyrie Irving is more responsible for that win than LeBron because LeBron didn't know how to take over.
So when Michael Jordan went to go play baseball for 2 years, how come the Bulls couldn't beat the Knicks?
You know why? You know why they couldn't do it?
Because they didn't have Michael Jordan.
No, that wasn't what it was.
Why? Michael Jordan came back. They went 72-10.
No, that wasn't what it was. What it was this. A lot of the players on there started to get older, which one. And then 2, you started to see where they wasn't getting the calls no more because Jordan wasn't on the team. When Jordan was on the team, they was getting the calls. That's one of the reasons. That's why Kobe used to infuriate me too, because they would give him calls, and I'm like, where was this foul at? And then when the Pistons beat them, it was like, oh, this happened. Yeah, it happened. This is what they do. The Pistons always take these unknown, scraggly people that you don't really know about, but we love them, and they win. And then they change the rules again. That's what they do.
Ruler Jungle says at least they were still a playoff team. LBJ left the Cavs, and they won 6 games.
That's a good point.
I mean, there is a good argument for that. I mean, look, LeBron James is an all-time great player, which drives me nuts as to why he's such a big bitch on the court.
I just wish he had more of a killer instincts. Like,
dude, name me one player in the NBA that has been as great as him. An all-time great is LeBron James. Don't get me wrong. I got LeBron James 4th on my list.
All time?
Yeah.
All time.
Yeah, Jordan, Kobe, Wilt.
Combs.
Kobe, Jordan, Wilt, LBJ.
Go and lock all the liquor up. Lock it up. Lock all the liquor up. LeBron James 4th all time?
Yeah.
No way.
Why? What do you mean no way? Why?
No freaking way. No. Over Bill
You're
Russell.
You're gonna argue LeBron James is better than Wilt Chamberlain? All time? The man averaged 50 points a game in a season, and then 44 points a game in a season.
You said LeBron James, you got him 4th best NBA player all time.
Yeah. You think that's too high or too low?
That's too damn high. Like the rate. What do you mean? Dude, you're talking about Bill Russell. You talking about people. Just if you do Bill Russell, Jordan, Kobe. Right?
First of all, Bill Russell played on some of the most stacked teams you'll ever see in your entire life.
Oh, so now are we playing that game? Okay. So what we gonna say about Jordan? We gonna play that game. We gonna say about
Jordan.
Kobe.
Jordan elevated his players.
He elevated. Bill Russell didn't elevate nothing. He just was fortunate on his team.
Come on, man. Don't you start that crap,
dude. No, listen.
Wilt Chamberlain played with nobody. And was a complete stud. So Jordan, Wilt, Kobe, and then LBJ is my top 4.
Jordan, Wilt, Kobe, LBJ.
Yep.
All right, good people. We always enjoy you coming in here. I can't. I can't. There's no way I can see that. There's no way. Look, no, LeBron's what? No way. Nope, I can't. I can't see it. I just can't see it. I'm trying to see it. My spirit won't let me. I prayed on it. He spoke back. It's not working for me. It's not. It's too high.
Rule of the Jungle says LBJ would kill Wilt.
How? He refused to drive to the rim. Are we serious?
No. Wilt Chamberlain would destroy LeBron James. He would destroy his will.
Man. Yeah, he doesn't drive to the rim. Like, if LeBron really wanted to, he can be the. Look at that dude. I always mess his name up, so I don't ever say it. The Greek freak. Look at him.
Yeah,
he goes to the rim.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, he doesn't care who's there. I don't care who's there. I want this.
Yeah,
LeBron don't do that. I'm just saying. Brady, Jordan, or Kobe. Brady
we
for
over
me.
our time. We are over our time.
Go ahead, man.
So we got to get out of here. We're going to continue this discussion. I don't know if you're available tomorrow, Luke G, but we're going to continue this discussion.
I should be able to.
All right, we'll talk tomorrow. If you can come on tomorrow, we'll pick this discussion up. So, Man Hour Nation, if you're with us tomorrow, we will continue this conversation. Man Hour Nation, rise up.